all mail is all of your mail, okay? So we see the message from Roby has the inbox label and the Z Travel label that we created. And we see the message from Sydney has the inbox label and the tours label. All mail is all of your mail. So if it's in your inbox, it's in all mail. If it's sent, it's in all mail. If it's in your drafts, it's in all mail. If it has a label, it's in all mail. And as you see, if it doesn't have a label, it's in all mail. All mail is all of your mail. It's everything except spam and trash. Got that? All right, here's your first pop quiz. If I send you an email, that email is automatically going to be in two places. What two places? That's right, your inbox and all mail. Very good, because all mail is all of your mail. Now, let me share with you why I like all mail. In most email systems, when something comes into your inbox, you only have three options, right? You can leave it in your inbox. That's why some people have thousands of messages in their inbox, correct? Yes. Or you can create a folder for it. That's why some people have hundreds of folders. Or you could delete it. Those are the three options. Well, in your Google Mail account, you have option number 4. And what is that? That is to archive. Does everybody see where I'm pointing? Absolutely. So what is archive? Archive removes the inbox label. Now you know that everything's automatically in all mail. Whether you do anything or nothing, it's automatically in all mail. But when I click on archive, it is going to remove the inbox label from the selected message. So you see again, I have some messages that are in the inbox, some messages that are not in the inbox, some messages with labels, some messages with no labels. But when I click on archive, it's going to remove this inbox label. Watch, everyone. There it goes. 2 conversations have been archived. Now, archive is not a place. Archive is simply an action to remove the inbox label. So don't say, hey, where's my archive mail? Because archive is not a place. All of your mail is where? In all mail. If you click on archive, it's in all mail. If you don't click on archive, it's in all mail. Archive simply removes the inbox label. So with Google, you have 4 choices. Something comes into your inbox. You don't want to delete it. You don't want to leave it in your inbox. You don't want to create a label for it, so you simply click on archive. As easy as that. All right, excellent. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I do want to restore this. So I'm going to select this message. It says 2 conversations have been archived. I'm going to click right here on Move to Inbox because I actually want this to go back into the inbox because it's an unread invitation. So I'm going to click on Move to Inbox, and all it did, it says 2 conversations have been moved to the inbox, and the inbox label has been returned. Now, I want to share some things with you. Right now, you see where I'm pointing? I have over 4,000 messages, right? Right. Now, I want you to see this. I have over 4,000 messages, but what percentage of my 30 gigabytes am I using? Can everybody see that? That's right. I'm only using 2% of my 30 gigs, and I have over 4,000 messages. What's my point? My point is this: archive. Archive, archive, archive. You have lots and lots of space. So go ahead and archive. When you first get started in your Google Mail account, we recommend that you archive everything and delete nothing. Now, if you want to delete, you can. Let me show you what happens. So I'm going to take this message about Airfare Watchdog. And first, before I do that, I'm going to add a label to it. I'm going to add this label. and I'm going to add this label. Now, I'm going to delete this message. Everybody watching? All right. I'm going to click right here on delete. It says, moving conversations from all mail to trash will remove them from all views. Wonderful. So I'm going to click on OK. There it goes. 2 conversations were moved to trash. And the reason it said 2 was because when you select something and you don't deselect it, it's going to pick that up. So it also picked up another message. So I'm going to go back to trash. And behold, here's the message. Here's that other message. Remember, this is that other message that I was working with that I did not deselect, so it also moved this to the trash. Now, back to our point. So here's the message in the trash with the 2 labels. Here's your second quiz, but this isn't a pop quiz. This is a trick question. And remember, all trick questions, the answer is always no. So, is this message from Airfare Watchdog still in the label Z Travel and still in the label Luxury Spa Resort? Very good. The answer is no. Watch. When I click on Z Travel, you're going to see there are no conversations with this label. And when I click on a Luxury Spa Resort, you see that message from Airfare Watchdog is not here. Everybody see that? So where's the message? That's right. The message is only in the trash. Wanted you to know that. So then you ask, why are the labels still attached? Excellent question. You see right here it says, messages that have been in trash more than 30 days will automatically be deleted. So Google recognizes that a lot of us are trash pickers. We put something in the trash, then we come back and pick it out. Well, for all of us trash pickers, Google leaves the labels. So when we get ready to do a move to, you see where I am? We will remember where to move it to. Now, watch this. This message was associated with Z Travel and Luxury Spa Resort. But I'm going to move it to deals. But when I click on Z Travel, the message has been restored. When I click on Luxury Spa Resort, the message has been restored. And of course, the message is also in deals. What's the point? Here's the point. When you delete a message from one label, it's deleted from all labels. And when you restore a message to a label, it's restored to all labels. You got that? There's only one copy of a message. And whatever you do to that message, it will be done to all of the labels attached. All right? Excellent. Now remember, if you have any questions about anything I'm covering, send me a chat, and at the end of the training, I'll be oh so happy to answer. The next thing we're going to do is to take a look at finding things. So you have 30 gigabytes of space, and you can have as much mail as you desire. So how do you find things? I'm going to show you 3 ways in which you can quickly find anything you're looking for. The first way is a simple search. Everybody can do a simple search, right? You type the name of the person you're looking for in the search bar, and then you just click on the search. And there you have it. Now, this was a thorough search. Google search uppercase, lowercase, body, subject, and attachments. And if you look at the bottom of my screen, it says deleted messages match your search. So it also searched the trash. Here's another trick question. It says that it found 1 through 20 of about 70, but is that all? No, it's not. I'm not sure if you can tell or not, but this older is bold. Because it's bold, I know that there are many more messages. You see that? You see how I kept clicking and it says there are many here. So absolutely, you just keep clicking until that older arrow is no longer bold. All right, now another way for you to do a search is to add an operator. So instead of saying any David, because I have a lot of Davids, I'm going to do David Coleman. How about that? We went from many to just one. And of course, you can always do a search via a label. For instance, if I know that the email I'm looking for is in the family label, I click on the family label, and the family label automatically appears in the search box. Now, I don't want to search through 56 email messages, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to type the word pass, as in family pass, and how's that for narrowing things down? We went from 56 to 4. And then a final way in which you can do a search is with search options. Does everybody see where I'm pointing? When I click right here, I have all of my search options. I can search mail, spam, and trash. That will make sure I get everything. I can also do everything that's read from David or everything that's unread from David, and look, I have all of my labels. Plus, I can search from, to, subject, has the words, doesn't have, has an attachment to include or not include, chat, my size, and by a date. All of these are additional options that I have when I am doing a search. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at is compose mail. Now, if you've composed an email in any email system, you'll be able to compose an email right here in Google Mail, okay? You've got your to fields, and this is what I like about Google. First of all, we still have our type ahead feature, so it automatically pulls up your contacts. But look at this, add. This is a memory jogger. Google remembers that normally when I send messages to Sydney and Deborah, that I usually include these guys. So I can say, that's right, I want to also include Fiona. How about that? You still have your CC, your BCC, your subject, and if you are typing and you misspell a word, you get the red underline. You can right-click and you can select the correct word. You can add to the dictionary or ask for suggestions. And all of your formatting features are right here. You see where I'm pointing on this A? Click on the A, and all of your formatting options are right here. Everything you're used to in other email systems. Plus, you can attach a file up to 25 megabytes. You can insert using Google Drive. Plus, you can insert pictures, links, emoticons, an invitation, and something else we all like. Every 5 seconds, your work is saved. So if you lose electricity, you don't lose your work. Next to the trash icon, we have more options, like canned responses, and we're going to take a look at those in just a moment. And you also have additional spell check options. So you can check spelling, clicking here, and look at this. We're all global now, so you can check spelling in additional languages. Plus, one size doesn't fit all. So if you wanted to pop this out, you see where I'm pointing? You can click here and pop the message out to the full screen. And if you say, this is ideal, I always want to work on the full screen, we've got something for you. You just click right here, and you can default to the full screen. So every time you click on Compose, this will be the view that you get. Now, for all of us multitaskers, we can click on Compose, and look, we can have more than one message open at a time. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is to take a look at canned responses. So some of you may be familiar with stationery. Well, in Google it's called canned responses. So if you have a form letter, a paragraph, a sentence, or just one word that you have to type all the time, but you don't want to type all the time, then you can it. The first thing you want to do when you're creating a canned response is delete everything that's on the page. So let's say this. Let's say we're project managers. And the project that we're working on has some problems. And the problem impacts 500 people. So we're going to get 500 emails telling us about the problem. Well, instead of typing our answer 500 times, we're going to can it. So we can click right here. We're going to select Canned Responses. And then we're going to select New Canned Response. And we're going to give this canned response a title. We're going to call it We Care. Okay? And then I'm going to click on OK. And then discard. So when those new emails start to come in telling us about the problem, all we have to do is insert our canned response. How nice is that? And again, a canned response can be anything that you desire, and you can have more than one canned response in an email. And canned responses are editable. Now that we've created this canned response, we're going to kick this up a notch. Well, what am I talking about? So who would like to insert this 500 times? Nobody. So we're going to can this, and we're going to take this canned response, and we're going to couple it with a filter. What am I saying? Watch. We're going to say anytime we get an email, and it has the word problem, what would we like for it to do? Well, we're going to click right here on Create Filter with this search. Ta-da! Does this look familiar? Some of you may have created rules in Outlook. So if you created a rule in Outlook in your Google Mail account, it's called Filter. We're filtering our mail. So we're going to say anytime we get an email and it has the word problem, we're going to have it to skip the inbox. We can mark it as read. We can star it. We can apply a label. Let's apply the Z-Travel label. We can forward it, delete it, never send it to spam, send a canned response, and that's what we came to do. Always mark it as important, never mark it as important. So how does this work? So you can say anytime you get an email from your manager, your boss, a coworker, a direct report, you can star it. You can have it to go directly to a label. You can always mark it as important. You manage your mail any way you desire. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the canned response, at the filter we just created. Let's see. So I'm just going to go back right quick because I didn't click on Save, and click on Create Filter. We had to skip the inbox. We had to apply the label Z-Travel, and we applied the canned response, We Care, and then click on Create, and voila, there we have it. How easy was that? Very easy. So we said anytime we get an email, it has the word problem, it's going to skip the inbox, go to the Z-Travel label, and send the canned response letting them know we care. All right, so here's your second pop quiz. If you have messages to skip the inbox and go directly to a label, how will you know you have any messages in that label? That's right, that label will be bold, and there will be a number in parentheses letting you know how many unread messages you have. You're absolutely right. So anytime you decide to have messages to skip the inbox, you will always know. Excellent. Remember, if you have any questions about anything I've just covered, send me a chat, and at the end of the training, I'll be most happy to answer. The next thing we're going to take a look at are labs. So I know a lot of people like canned responses. Canned responses is a lab. It's a lab that you'll have to enable. Another lab that we like is the Google Calendar gadget. Watch this. I'm going to click right here. How nice is that? I now have a snippet of my calendar right here in my inbox. Very convenient. I also like the Mark as Read button, the preview pane, that's the first lab that I demonstrated, and undo send. Now everybody needs to enable undo send, right? Right. Now the list of labs goes on, and you can decide which labs you'd like to enable, but we do recommend these 5. Okay? Now after you enable the labs, you click on Save Changes. You want to go to the General tab. Again, we're still under Settings. I'm going to be under Settings for a minute now. When you're under Settings, one of the first things you want to do is to take a look at Undo Send. So Undo Send is going to default to 10 seconds. Not long enough, right? Right. So you have up to 30 seconds to stop a message from being sent once you click on Send. Those stars. Now when you first get started, you're simply going to have one yellow star, but there are actually 12 stars. Now I don't recommend that you click on all stars. Leave the all stars to the baseball teams, right? Every click is going to be a star. So simply click and drag the stars that you want to use just like this. And you arrange them in the order in which you want them to be. And don't forget about that preview pane. You decide when you want conversations to be marked as read when you're using the preview pane. Your desktop notifications should be turned on, as well as your keyboard shortcuts. Under Settings is where you have your signature. So if you want to set up your signature, you can do so right here. Now, here's another tip. Sometimes people have more than one signature. So if you have additional signatures, how would you create those? That's right, you do it under Canned Responses. Absolutely. And then scrolling down to the bottom here, we have Vacation Responder. So if you're going to be out of the office, whether it's work-related or not, you're going to use Vacation Responder. Okay? So remember, Settings is your friend, and you're going to come to the General tab a lot. This is where you customize. We've already looked at labels. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the inbox. Look at this. Google has given you 5 different types of inboxes. And you can always hover right here. You see where I'm pointing? Click on this drop down and look. You get a definition of all of the different types of inboxes. Now, most people's favorite inbox is priority inbox. So I'm going to go to Sydney's account and show you just what that looks like. So here we have priority inbox. So priority inbox gives you an opportunity to prioritize your mail based on what's important to you. So there are 4 sections, and everything that's important and unread is here. Everything important, everything unread, and everything else. Now you can organize this any way you desire. We're going to quickly go behind the scenes by going under Settings and then selecting Inbox. So inbox type is priority inbox, and again, you have 4 sections. You can use all 4 sections, or you can use 2 sections, 3 sections. It's all up to you. You just simply click on Options, and you decide what you want those options to be. When you finish populating everything, making your choices, you click on Save Changes. And there you have priority inbox. Now, as a bonus, I'm going to show you multiple inboxes. You like this? Well, the name is deceiving. It's called multiple inboxes, but it's actually just one inbox. So all of your mail comes right here. But You can have mail from specific people or in any category right here to your right. For instance, all of Sydney's mail comes right here. But anything from Felicia hits here, anything from Brian, anything on Sydney's to-do list, anything from David and Jeff, and Sydney has a label called News. If it hits this label, it also goes right here. Now, multiple inboxes is a lab. So the first thing you'll need to do is go to Settings, click on Labs, and enable multiple inboxes. After you do that, you'll see this option, multiple inboxes, under Settings. Click on it, and there you have it. Not a mystery at all. Multiple inboxes is simply a search query. From Felicia, from Brian, has screen check. You see that? That's all it is. Now, do remember this. Multiple inboxes takes the default view. And there you have it. So those are some of the ways in which you can work with your mail account. Still under Settings, the next thing we're going to take a look at is Accounts. So if you need for someone else to have access to your mail account, let me show you how you can grant access. Here under Accounts, we have Grant Access to Your Account, Add Another Account. So I'm going to give Brian access to my mail. So Brian will be able to read, delete, and send mail on my behalf. You got that? He'll be able to do all three. I'm going to click on Next Step. And it is all or nothing, okay? Now, I'm sending an email to grant Brian access. Now, it's going to show pending until Brian accepts. And I can always come back and click on Delete. So you can give somebody access for 2 minutes or a lifetime. Now, if somebody has given you access to their mail account, it's so easy to get in. You see where I'm pointing? There's a drop-down next to your name or your picture. You click on it. And you see I'm a delegate for Steve, and I'm a delegate for Asher. They both have made me delegates. That means I can click right here and instantly go into Steve's account. I don't need to know his password, and I don't know his password. But he's granted me access to his account so I can read, delete, and send mail on Steve's behalf. Now, anything that I send on Steve's behalf will say sent by Felicia. So there's not going to be any mystery and no saboteurs. And then we've already looked at filters. The next portion is chat. Chat is instant messaging. Most of us are familiar with chat. It's really a great feature. It gives you an opportunity to hang out with people. So for instance, if I wanted to do a chat with Asher, I would just click right here and I could start a hangout. I could do a text just like that, or I could do a video chat with Asher, or I could do a group chat. And anytime you see the gears, those are your options, your settings, and you can click and you can see all the different things that you can do. And then, if you need to work offline, you can install Gmail to work offline, and you have your themes. Now, take note of this. The themes will change based on time of day and weather. What am I talking about? For instance, if it's 3 a.m. in the morning and you're working, your backdrop is going to be dark. If it's 3 p.m. and it's cloudy and raining outside, your backdrop may be gloomy. So before you call the help desk and say, hey, what is going on here, check the weather. All right? And then we have contacts. So you see where I'm pointing? This is where all of your Google apps are housed. I'm going to click right here, and there you have it. Select contacts. So you have 3 sets of contacts. My contacts, which are the contacts that synchronize with your mobile device. Most contacted, which are the 20 people you contact the most. And other contacts, which will be everybody else. And what I like about other contacts is this. Anytime you send someone an email, they are automatically populated in your other contacts. So your other contacts are going to start to build up without you having to do anything at all. And then, of course, you have your company directory and new group. So we told you in the beginning that all of your contacts are coming over, except any of your personal distribution lists. Those will have to be recreated. For instance, let's say I had an 18. Well, I'll have to recreate that. Let me show you how easy it is. So here's my new group called the 18. There's no one there, but I'm going to add quickly. First of all, here, anytime you see a plus sign in anything Google, it means you can add. So I'm going to add Mark. So I'll add Mariana. That's good. And Mark. Great. Click on Add. So I've just added 2 contacts to my 18. Now, another way that I can add is by going under Other Contacts. Click on Other Contacts and then just select the people I want to be a part of my team. And then I'm just going to, this time you see it has the groups icon. So I'm going to click on this drop down and add them to my 18. And I've just added 6 additional contacts to my 18 for a total of 8. And then the final way in which I want to show you how to add is this. So let's say you want to pull from an email list. So I'm just going to click right here. Does everybody see what I'm doing? I'm going to click on Show Details. And then I'm going to copy. I'm going to do a Control-C on my keyboard. Excellent. And then I'm going to do a Control-V to paste. And then I'm going to click on Add. And there you have it. I've added 9 additional contacts for a total of 17. That's how easy it is to add contacts. Under More, you can merge and delete contacts, you can rename and delete a group, and you can also manage delegation settings. So just like I gave Brian access to my mail account, I'm also giving Brian access to my contacts. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is contacts. You can click on this drop down and see the other things that you can do with contacts. The next thing we're going to take a look at is task. So in your Google Mail account, you have the ability to create tasks. You see right here under Mail, click on this drop down, and I can create tasks. The plus sign, once again, you see a plus sign, you know you can add. So here I can add a task. I'm going to add a task called Create Report. Click on this drop down, and I can give this task a date, put in some notes, and go back to my list. Wasn't that easy? Absolutely. Under Actions, I can indent and unindent tasks. That's how you give the task the appearance of being subtasks. You can also move tasks up and down, edit tasks, email, print, view, sort, and complete tasks. And under your Actions, you have an opportunity to create a brand new list. Let me show you how neat this is. So I'm going to click right here on New List. I'm going to give this list a name, my 18 list, and click on OK. Now watch this, everybody. I'm going to select this message from Airfare Watchdog and this message from Roby, and then I'm going to click on More. And I'm going to add these 2 email messages to my task list. You see that? Add to task, and there you have it. How nice is that? So those 2 emails have just been added to my task list. All right. Now, when you're working with your task list, there are two things you can't do. You can't have reoccurring tasks, and you can't have reminders, not right now anyway. So if you need reminders or reoccurring tasks, you'll need to create your task under the calendar, and that's where we're headed next. So to access your calendar, remember what I told you, all of your Google Apps are right here under your Apps icon, and we're going to the calendar. So you have 5 calendar views. You have the day view, the week, the month view, and you also have a custom view. Your custom view is going to say 4 days. I changed mine to 2 weeks. That's why they call it custom. It can be anything you desire. And then you have the agenda view. So these are the 5 views that you have, and any of these 5 views can become your default view. By default, Google has given you the week view as your default view, but again, your default view can be anything you desire. All right. Now you also have a mini calendar. So if I wanted to jump to July 4th, all I have to do is click, and there you have it. I'm automatically on the month of July. Click again, I'm on the week of the 4th. Click again, and I'm actually on the 4th of July. And when I'm ready, all I have to do is go back to today, and I'm back to today. That's easy time travel. Now, let's create events. There are 3 ways in which you can create an event. The first way, of course, is obvious. Click on the big red create button, right? Right. So we're going to create an event called a team meeting. We're going to give the event a date, a time zone. Don't be concerned about events being in the recipient's correct time zone. It will always be in their correct time zone. Now, I want you to watch this. Right now, Google is showing me as busy. But when I change this from 2 to 3 to all day, Google is going to show me as available. Watch. I'm going to say available. I'm going to say all day, and Google shows me as available. Wanted you to know that. So if you have an all-day event, you'll manually have to click on busy. You can also have events to repeat, and as you see, events can repeat anywhere from daily all the way to yearly. And you can add your guests, and again, this is something we all like, the fact that when you are adding your guests, you still have the type ahead feature you had before. All the names just pop up. And you can add rooms. This is a favorite feature because it will only show the rooms that are available. So you don't have to be concerned with someone taking your room. And if you wanted to remove someone, you can click on the X to remove a guest. And you can click on this icon to make some attendees optional. We're going to make Nicholas optional, as you see. Guests can modify the event, invite others, and see the guest list. You can also do a video call, which is very nice. Remember, I was talking about the hanging out. You can have a meeting that's a hangout. You can add a description, and you can also add an attachment. Now, adding an attachment is a calendar lab that you'll have to enable. You can give the event a color, and you have your reminders as well. You can add a reminder. So your reminders can be an email or a pop-up. minutes, hours, days, or weeks in advance, and you can add up to 5. You can have up to 5 reminders, and of course, the X always means remove. Now, I want to show you something else. Right now, we don't see suggested time, correct? That's because this is a repeat event. But watch this. When I deselect repeat, did everybody see that? Now we have suggested times. When I click right here, Google automatically gives me all the times that everybody can attend, including my room. Isn't that a nice feature? Wonderful. Now, if an event is all day, you will not see suggested times. And if an event is repeat, you will not see suggested times. So that's not a problem because, you see right here, you have find a time. So you can click on find a time and you can see the calendars of everyone that you've invited. Now don't be alarmed and say, wait a minute, can somebody invite me to a meeting and automatically see my calendar? Yes, they can, but they will only see what you allow them to see. For instance, Kane and Shell just let me see free busy. I know when they're free, I know when they're busy. James and Sydney let me see full details, you see? So people will only see what you allow them to see. Now, Nicholas' calendar isn't showing at all because we said Nicholas was optional, not required, correct? But if I click right here on all, watch this. You see that? Now Nicholas' calendar is also showing. Okay? Now I'm going to click on Save and Send, and Google has just added my team meetings, you see? Now the second way for us to create an event is just to click inside anytime we desire. You see how easy that was? Absolutely. And watch this. I can click and make this event longer, and click and move this event to another day. You see that? Absolutely. You have so much flexibility when you're working with your Google Calendar. And then the third way for us to create an event is Quick Add. So I'm going to click right here on Quick Add, this drop down next to Create, and I'm going to quickly add an event. So there you have it, dinner with friends, 7 p.m. every other Sunday. Then I'm going to click on Add. Did everybody see that? It automatically placed it on Sunday the 23rd because that is the first available Sunday. But watch, dinner with friends, 7 p.m. every other Sunday. Absolutely. Very nice. That's Quick Add. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to take a look at our calendars. So there are two sets of calendars. We have My Calendars, and these are the calendars that we own and or manage. And then we have Other Calendars, which are the calendars of others. These are the calendars that we can simply view. The first thing we're going to do is look at our calendar. So your name is always going to be the first name under My Calendars. Click on the drop down next to your calendar and you can see all the things you can do with your calendar. We're going to start with sharing this calendar. So when I click right here, this is how you share your calendar. So everybody in the organization can see Free Busy. They need to be able to see when you're free, when you're busy, so we can schedule meetings with one another, right? But if you want somebody to see more than just Free Busy, all you have to do is type their names in the person field and give them additional permission. You see how easy that is? Absolutely. When you finish, you click on Save. That is how easy it is to give someone else access to your calendar. The next thing we're going to look at is reminders and notifications. So this is where you set up how you want to be reminded about events. Once again, you've got your email and your pop-up, minutes, hours, days, and weeks in advance. Just remember, whatever you set up here, this is your default reminders, okay? Plus, you want to choose how you'd like to be notified about new, changed, and canceled events, event responses, and if you're an eager beaver, and I'm sure some of you are, every day at 5 a.m. you can receive your agenda. After you finish deciding how you'd like to be notified and setting up your event reminders, you're going to click on Save. And then if you want to create a brand new calendar, you will be able to do so. You just simply click on the drop-down next to My Calendars and select Create New Calendar and start creating. You can create a team calendar, a project calendar, a vacation calendar, or personal calendar. Any kind of calendar you desire, you will be able to create. You can share this calendar or you can keep it private. When you finish, you just simply click on Create Calendar. So now, under My Calendars, there's the team calendar. If you need to get access to a coworker's calendar, that is easy to do. All you have to do is type the names of the coworkers you want to get access to. And again, what will you see? That's right, you'll only see what they allow you to see. For instance, Fiona just lets me see free busy. I know when she's free, I know when she's busy. Sydney, she lets me see the event details. But what's going on with Brian and James? Why are their names under My Calendars? That's right, because Brian and James, they allow me to place events on their calendar. So I can put an event on my calendar, Brian's, James, the team, and the travel. All of the calendars under My Calendars I can put an event on. Make sense? Great. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at is invitations. So invitations are going to come into your inbox. And you'll see the word invitation, but most importantly, you're going to see this RSVP. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a giveaway, right? Absolutely. So you'll always know immediately when you have an invite. You can reply directly from the RSVP. I can click on maybe, and it says you have replied maybe to this invitation, and I'm done. Or I can open the invitation up to look at my agenda. This is my favorite calendar feature. All of my invitations carry my agenda. So when I open an invitation, I get to see my agenda so I'll know whether or not I'm available. Now I want you to watch this. If I say yes from this menu option, it says you have replied yes. But if I say yes from this bottom option, watch. You see what happened? It opened the invitation up in the edit mode. That's right. And from this mode, I can add a note or change my response. Now I want you to keep something in mind. If you add a note, that note is visible to everybody. You see, I can read what Deborah said, what Shell said, and what Nicholas said. Nothing's private, okay? I can add a guest by clicking here, and I can email guests. This is one of my favorite features too, because you can email guests in any of these categories. When you finish, you simply click on Save. All right, too many calendars. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways in which you can clean up your calendar. So I can click on Sydney, and her calendar is no longer showing. I can click on Fiona, and her calendar is no longer showing. Or I could click on this drop down and say display only this calendar, and in one clean sweep, every calendar is gone. Now I'm going to click on settings, and we're going to take a look at labs. So you have a couple of calendar labs that I want to highlight. In fact, I want to highlight the first two, which are high, morning, and night. And that's really important, okay? And gentle reminders as equally important. If you don't enable these two, you might experience a little frustration, so just take my word on it. And then there's event attachments. Another one that I like is who's my one-on-one with, and of course the world clock. Lets you know what time it is in other countries. When you finish enabling these labs, you want to click on Save Changes, right? And then click on the General tab. Now this is where you come to customize all of your calendar features. You have your language, your country, and your time zone. Now I want to show you something about time zone. I know you are a global organization, most companies are. You get to choose your time zone, and I think for most of you it might be Central, and an additional time zone. For me, that second time zone is Pacific. Let me show you how that works. You see this? So an 8 a.m. meeting is no problem for me, but a big deal for those that are in the Pacific time zone. You see that? So that's why I like having two time zones, because some of my coworkers are in the Pacific time and I'm in the Eastern time zone, and when I'm scheduling meetings, it makes it easy. You have your date and time format, your default meeting link. So you want to go through, and it's all about personal preferences, right? No right or wrong is what works for you. You have your event demo, which I enjoy. You can show the weekends, and this is where you're going to set up your default view and your custom view. You will also select your location. Why? Because you get to show the weather based on your location. You can choose Celsius or Fahrenheit. Now, two things that Google has automatically set to yes, and that is show events you've declined and automatically add invitations to my calendar. So Google automatically set these to yes. So that means if I send you an invitation, that invitation is automatically going to be on your calendar. And if you say no, it will still be on your calendar. Some people adore that, and that's not a problem. Again, it's personal preferences. You just need to know how Google works. When you finish, you click on Save. And we are done. Now I want to go back to the mail account, and I want to show you help. So if you have questions about anything that we've covered today, right here is your search help. Lots of answers to anything. For instance, you've been a great audience. So I want to show you advanced search. So I'm going to type right here advanced search. And then it gives me my advanced search link. When I do that, look what I have. I have additional search operators. Now, some of these operators I've already shared with you, but you can do search with a file name with quotes and brackets. You can do a search with your stars. And you know what else you can do with this? That's right, this is also how you can set up your multiple inboxes, like has yellow star, etc. And you can continue to scroll down, and you can see all the additional ways in which you can do a search. So you want to avail yourself to Google Help. And you can always click right here and get the Help Center. And you have this same wonderful information right at your fingertips when you're working in your Google Calendar. You just click on Help, and everything dealing with your calendar is right there under Help. All right, so there is an excellent question from Kevin. Is there a limit to the number of people you can import into a contacts list? I haven't heard of a limit, Kevin, and that's an excellent question. And when we go under, let's go under contacts, close this out. And under our help form, doesn't mention anything about a limit. So I would go for it. I would go for it, Kevin. Absolutely. So Brian has the question, can you email your contact list without having to pick each person? If you email your contact list, Brian, you can. The answer is yes. Well, emailing your contact list, yeah, so for instance, if you forward an email, because I'm trying to walk this through, because if I email the contact list, it might send it to them. So, but if you're trying to do something like this, click on this drop down and do what I showed you, a copy and paste. Do a Control-C to copy. You could do that. You could do a copy. And they're going to have additional resources and information for you about importing your contacts. And remember this, too. When you're looking at your contacts and you click on Import Contacts, here's additional information about importing your contacts. Absolutely. Absolutely. So email everyone in the 18 list. Absolutely. I see what you're saying. So for instance, when I am here and I click on compose, thank you, Brian, for clarification. If I do my 18th, there it is. You see right here? There's my 18th. So yes, you can go ahead and do everybody in your list. Absolutely. And it may take some time for it to generate. It might not happen all at once. So give it some time. But absolutely, that's the purpose of being able to create your list. Absolutely. Thank you for clarification. Any other questions about anything we've covered today? You've been an excellent audience. I've enjoyed training you on your Google apps. Well, stay tuned for additional information. Like I said earlier, everything about Google, Mail, Calendar, and all of your apps, everything's going to be right at your fingertips. So if you have additional information, additional questions, if you have additional information, you can share that too. But if you have any additional questions, you can always go to the Google resources as well as the BBVA Compass pre-deployment resource. Thank you, everyone. Thank you too, Kevin. Thanks, everybody. I've enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.